So great, here I am with Danny and Katie. And Danny, it's been a long time. How are you?
Yeah, it's been some time, hasn't it? But yeah, things are good. Thanks, Nick. It's yeah, kids have grown up, and I've probably aged a little bit since we last met.
I was going to say probably not really. You don't look like you have.
A few more grey hairs.
So too kind.
I can't see him. So no, great to have. And hi, Katie.
Hiya.
How
Good
are
to
you?
speak to you. Yeah, really good, thank you. Yeah, really good.
Excellent, great. Well, look, I'm really excited to talk to you too. I know you've been doing absolutely tons in property. So a bit of backstory. I first met Danny. When was it? It must be like 7 years ago.
Yeah, it was September 2016. So yeah.
Yeah, so September 2016. I remember going up to Ipswich, and we had a great mentorship. It's one of my favourite ones because you were so positive, so enthusiastic, and there were also a few challenges which we'll come on to in a little bit. But I always knew from like minute one that you were going to like really take this and go for it and be really successful. So I'm dying to find out what you've been up to since. So yeah, over to you guys. Tell me a little bit about since. I've obviously seen you and I've followed you on stuff that you've been doing since our mentorship. But as I do remember that one. It was one that really sticks with me. We saw some really good things, and as I said, I knew you were going to go big. So over to you. Tell me what you guys been up to.
Cool. Well, thanks for that intro. We've it's been an absolute roller coaster, like everyone probably says in the property world since then. We've done lots, haven't we? We've been pretty active. We've probably been active in pockets more than every year over that time. We've had pockets and where stuff has, in general life has got a little bit challenging. We've taken a break and consolidated and then gone again. So yeah, we met September 2016 and met Caroline in the December before that. She actually delivered a 3-day training event that I was on. We've been on this journey since then, and trying to navigate being parents as well as property developers and investors as well.
Yeah, and if we think back to when we first met, I know you were in a different relationship then, and something that we talked about on that mentorship was, well, as much as the property stuff that we did, we also mentioned the difficulties that you had in being with a partner who wasn't really supportive of what you were trying to do, and I know that led to some quite significant changes. So you've had challenges from literally from day one, but you're always such a positive person that I knew that you'd be able to overcome whatever was thrown in front of you. So maybe if you're okay with that, tell us a little bit about kind of how that played out and what that meant for you in terms of in property.
The challenges started on day one of the 3-day training with Caroline in the December 2015. You know about this as well. So my business partner with another business I still own, not with him anymore, but my business partner at the time, this was a venture we were going to do together. And by lunchtime of day one of the basic training, he said to me, I'm done. I want to, no, he didn't, sorry, not then. At the end of the day, he said to me, I turned to him and went, wow, what a fucking great session that was. I can't wait for tomorrow. And I was just buzzing and bursting at the seams. And he just looked at me and said, I hated it. That's one of the worst days I've ever had. I feel so uncomfortable. I don't know what I'm doing here. And actually looking back, I said to him, I said, okay, why don't you shoot off then? And I'll see you in a few days' time. And then that was the real kick for me to say, right, my dreams and what I want are completely over here. And everything that's happening is over here. And that's not what I want. Then sort of turn of 2017 into, well, May, wasn't it? May time we met and started, as our grandparents would say, courting and hanging out and started meeting. And it was really, really obvious really quickly that our dreams and aspirations, our attitude, the way we want to live, the way we parent was so aligned. It was like the stars were written. And we've not really looked back. It was one of those fairy tale Disney story romances that suddenly within a few days you think, I know exactly what's going on here, and this is it, and I can't believe this happens in real life, but it does. And yeah, we were off and running, and we've been sort of driving the businesses together ever since then.
Amazing.
Yeah, because the two things have to align together, don't they? It's not just business. It's not just life. It's all, it's together.
Yeah, absolutely. It's your whole kind of life plan. And if you have, a partner that isn't on board, it's incredibly difficult, because you're kind of on your own. There is no overall life plan. So yeah, brilliant to hear. And I have been following your story from afar. I know Katie, you've spoken to Caroline a few times, and we do follow what you guys are doing. So tell us what you're up to. Where did you start in property, and where are you now?
So yeah, so you'd already bought a couple. That was really for a retirement plan, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And then as we, I suppose, started to realise that we were in this now. It wasn't just a fleeting romance. Not that either of us ever thought that it was, but we realised that we worked pretty well together. I'd never owned my own business before. I'd always worked in corporate jobs. So background in hospitality and hotels and things like that. But as we realised that we were actually quite good at it together, we just hit the ground running, really, didn't we? So
yeah. And we've had pockets where we've then scaled that. So we started with buy-to-lets and HMOs.
And that was in the Ipswich area, or have you moved from there?
No, so it started off in Grimsby, didn't it?
Yeah.
Grimsby, North East Lincolnshire.
Yep.
And then into Ipswich. And then back out into Grimsby again. We've grown the portfolio there.
Yeah.
Of HMOs mainly, small HMOs, sort of 5-6 beds. We've kept at that level at the moment with those, and in Ipswich. And then COVID.
Well, we got married in the 2019, didn't we? So we got married in 2019.
Yeah.
Actually, do you know what? When you go back over the timeline, you think, God, that was quite quick, wasn't it? But yeah, so we got married in 2019, and then COVID hit in the March afterwards.
Yeah, about 5 months after we got married.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then it kind of, everything went crazy during COVID, didn't it?
Yeah. So one of our other businesses we've got is a children's coaching company. And it was a real moment for that. I remember March, I think it was March the 23rd, 23rd of March 2020, and schools were shutting on that Friday, and we didn't know what was going to happen and what was going on. And that was a, oh my God, what is going on here? Because with property, the plan had always been to not really draw anything from it. We didn't need any income from it. We'll just keep building, and it can be passive. And then it became, our income for our family is, and that sparked a bit of a scaling up process for us, didn't it? And we then moved into Scotland with some buy-to-lets and some more HMOs in Grimsby, another buy-to-let in Nottingham. Since then,
that was through 2021, wasn't it?
2020,
if you remember back, right then when COVID, when the schools shut, we'd actually announced that we were expecting a baby. The week before. So
forgot about that.
I was thinking,
chuck something else in there, just a minor.
Yeah. Back then, it was, if you were pregnant, you were seen as vulnerable.
Yeah.
So it was all on Danny's shoulders to provide, wasn't it? Because I couldn't go to work. I'd been furloughed. And, actually that time it was a bit of it was quite uncomfortable, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That time, the property business we hadn't focused on that. Like you said, we were actually just growing that for capital growth later. It all just took care of itself. All the management was outsourced.
Yeah.
So we didn't really have anything to do with it.
So your life basically had to switch from, COVID is like this thing that happened to everybody, and everyone had to react in a different way. And what I was hearing is that you guys had to pivot pretty quickly in your life plan from being, we've got this business providing income and our property is going to do the long-term wealth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, property was the thing that had to provide the income as well.
Yes.
Yeah. Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
That's exactly it, Nick. And it was that switch that we didn't know what was going to happen with the school-based business. We didn't know what's going to happen? And then when is the funding going to be there when we come back? Are the schools, how long is that going to take to open and them open their doors up again? And we knew that we had far more control, or we could control much more within a property growth plan. And we're really passionate about that because we just get to spend more time together. So it's a bit corny, a bit cheesy, but it's looking at that life plan that we didn't meet until our early to mid 30s, and we feel like there's wasted time there. So we want to spend as much time together now as we can, and we want to be the best role models we can for our kids. We want to inspire them. We want to be aspirational, and we want to show them that if you believe in something, if you step out of your comfort zone, if you work really hard, you can achieve stuff that, in the most respect in the world, none of our families have done with wealth and certain other things. So we're trying to break through, and are breaking through that sort of generational wealth glass ceiling, if you like. And we want to show them that you can do all of that together. And we sort of brought up with a belief of, well, you can't have it all. And money grows under tree. It doesn't grow on trees. And money.
These beliefs drilled into us when we're young, isn't it? These flippant kind of offhand comments that, I think family, and particularly family, really, mate like that. Well, hang on a minute. Why not? Why can't we have it? Why can't we have it?
Yeah.
Why can't we do it? If I see somebody over there, being successful in property, why can't I?
Yeah.
And so it's a lot of having to overcome, those kind of limited beliefs. So, quick aside, I've just finished Arnold Schwarzenegger's new book called Be Useful. I don't know if you've read that or listened to it. If you get it on audio, it's brilliant. Quick plug for Arnie. But he talks about this a lot in it, and all these limited beliefs. He's saying, look, if someone else has done it, why can't I do it?
Mm-hmm.
I can. And just go for it. Have this vision. He always talks about this. Have your vision and know what you're trying to do, and then you just go all out to do it. So so what did you do? How did you pivot then? What did you do in your property kind of business to pivot from long-term wealth to immediate income?
Yeah, so well then, I mean, that was a lot of just plate spinning, wasn't it?
Yeah.
We like to call it, we call it ducking. Like, you look cool and calm on the outside, but underneath you're paddling furiously. That was what that the rest of 2020 was. It's pretty much a blur to me. I don't remember it. I didn't been 30 something pregnant. I don't remember a lot of that. That was on you. But 2021, we at the end of 2020, I remember that Bobby was born in the September, wasn't he?
Yeah, September. Yeah, he was. Yeah,
September. And then we kind of said, right, we're not having this anymore. The kids didn't go back to school that September, did they?
No.
If you remember?
No, they were still homeschooling.
So they were still homeschooling,
which was so much fun.
Really?
Anyone who's kids
there's
knows
absolute
that.
sarcasm in my voice there. That
was. I just wanted to check that because it was like blank out of my entire memory.
Oh, man.
Everyone always thinks you're serious when you're sarcastic.
Yeah. Oh, that was not fun.
Yeah.
I think the big vision was a lot of people in property probably the same time and money. Mm-hmm. So it was, how do we get that freedom where, actually, if I really simplify it, the goal was never to be vulnerable again, like we were when COVID hit. So that we're never in a position to do that where we're vulnerable. So that meant building bigger emergency pot and more different income streams, and looking at stuff that's always going to be around, like housing is always going to be around. People always need somewhere to live. So how do we go to maybe double down more on an industry where it's always going to be there, and there's probably more opportunity than the sports coaching industry was an absolute passion of mine. And so I started that in 2003. And then since we've sort of run it since 2017, and it's been a real passion, but that's not been about money. That's just been about giving children opportunities to live a healthier, more active lifestyle and experience things they might not have the opportunity or be fortunate enough to experience. And give them a real healthy experience and a fun experience of being active in sport, and not wanting anyone turned off by bad experiences as children. So then the rest of their life, they're never active again because they've had a bad experience. It's breaking that. So we really wanted to scale that. So we then in 2021 raised £1 million worth of private finance, didn't we? We knew that was our route to, we need to go for it here.
Yeah, amazing.
Sort of go big or go home almost. Let's do this properly and go for it.
We bought 12 houses in that year, didn't we? I mean, the conveyancing process was...
So hang on a minute. Just recap. So you raised £1 million in private finance, and then you went and bought 12 houses in 12 months.
Yeah. During 2021, we raised £1 million and bought 12 houses, didn't we?
Yeah.
And I think that was where, so the end of 2020, beginning of 2021, we started talking on social media more about our journey and who we were and what we were doing and what we wanted to do, and sharing a bit more, didn't we?
Yeah.
We kind of went a bit more, okay, we'll pull back the curtain and show you a little bit more about our lives.
Yeah.
And that...
And sometimes it's quite hard for people to do, but I think, we talk a lot about raising money, in our trainings and also on the podcast, and it's such a key part of what we do. And, but in order to do that, you have to tell people what you're doing and bring people into your story.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the burning question is, how did you raise £1 million? Where did that come from? How did you do it?
We didn't start out trying to raise £1 million. It wasn't that. It wasn't it wasn't like we'd set that as a goal, was it?
No,
we just kept. We'd ventured out into Scotland with the properties. We'd had some more opportunities come up in Grimsby.
Yeah.
And it wasn't Nottingham yet, was it? It's the following year.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we just kept all these the new opportunities kept coming. So the more we talked about who we were and what we were doing and how we could help people and the returns that we could offer, the more I suppose people then contacted us and said, okay, how does this work? How do we work with you? And it was then it was, it wouldn't happen without the finance, would it? So
no,
we talk about this a lot. And so in terms of that £1 million that came in, what percentage of it would you say was people that were like friends, family, contacts, and what percentage was people who you'd never met?
I think 100% of it was people we
knew. It was not people that we knew. It was people that knew us.
People that knew you. So people knew you through your social media activities and learning about and hearing about what you were doing.
Yeah, definitely. It was a kind of, we committed, like, some people can commit to something and actually they're not really, they're just dipping their toe in the water. Like, I think most people would say about us, if we commit to something, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. There's not it's not going to happen, or it might not. No, it will. We know that it will because we'll commit to it. So we said that, okay, pre 2021, I'd used Facebook to share pictures of the kids or pictures of the wedding, or, I don't know, some people use it to share pictures of their cat or whatever else, but we'd never used it for business before, ever. And we flipped a switch and said, actually, we're going to use it to share about our business now. So we just talked about the business consistently.
Yeah.
And, probably unfriended a few, or people unfriended us on the way, like it happens. But the more people that knew us, the more money we raised, didn't we? And we were very open about our life. We didn't just talk about business. We also talked personal. We showed who we were. Yeah,
I think that's probably it. We showed who we were, and we tried to be really authentic to who we were and what we believed in.
Yeah.
And then people that and there's people watching us that we did know, that we didn't even know they were watching us. So they hadn't been liking, they hadn't been commenting. And then suddenly it was, do you know what? Actually, I've got some money that's doing nothing, and I'd really like to get involved in this. I haven't got time to do anything, but I'd really like to get involved in this. And it looks like you might be able to help me. Can we have a chat? And it was a lot of that. So we were able to carry on driving our goals and aspirations, which kind of were there, but we definitely didn't think, oh, we'll easily go out and raise £1 million this year. Let's just go and do that, shall we? That sounds like the simplest option. It was as it was happening. We had a goal, which was half of that.
We said about scaling, hadn't we? Yeah.
And then we got to Easter, and we were pretty much there, and we were like, hang on, we can keep going here. We can keep going. So within that year of what we raised, we bought 12 houses in that 12 months in 2021, and then there was about another 4 or 5 that of the follow-on stuff that was in the pipeline in 21 and completed in 2022. So and then it was the amount of refinances and doing all that, and it was probably that noise and the noise of all of the paperwork and everything that has slowed us a little bit since we were like, right, let's
breathe for a minute.
Let's just breathe. Let's try and just consolidate a little bit what we've got going on. Let's get everything let, which it is, and focus on that stuff. And then the world's gone a bit crazy again in the aftermath of that, hasn't it, in the last 12 months? But
yeah,
we've also bought and decided that our strategy after doing that, we'd actually built our portfolio to hold to a level that we were pretty comfortable with, but we needed a different plan to also pay down some investors or bring lumpy cash in, which we'd never done. We hadn't done any of that. So we then developed our plan for back end of 22 stroke this year. No, sorry, for last year and then into this year to look at more development. So we've got the rental portfolio, the stuff we're holding and want to hold forever. Right, that's going now, and let's keep that going. But what we need to do is we need another option to pay down investment or put our own money into deals. And so we're now sort of, I feel like in terms of the investment pyramid and what have you, we're going into the next bit about, right, how do we start having some of our own money to do that? So we bought our first development, didn't we, which we're converting into 5 flats at the moment.
Okay.
That was at the back end of 21.
Is that developing flats for the rental market or for service accommodation market? What are you looking at there?
We're going to be selling them.
Oh, you're flipping them on, right? Okay.
Yeah, we're going to flip them on. That was the original plan with this one.
Well, we did think we might keep 1 or 2, mightn't we?
Yeah.
But I think we'll wait and see. We'll just wait and see. The first plan is to sell. That's the first plan.
Yeah.
If it makes business not to, then we won't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The plan was to pay down some of the investment.
We've not ever run a capital strategy alongside our cash flow strategy, and I think that's something that we felt the more we were going on, it made absolute sense to look at adding that alongside what we were doing.
But yeah, no, I'm amazed to hear, or fascinated to hear rather, your journey where you've come to in a relatively short period of time. Bearing in mind we had COVID slap bang in the middle of it. And what I love about that story is how you identified that you had to pivot pretty quickly and to do something different. And it's all very well kind of having those thoughts and setting the vision, but you actually went out there and took such a huge amount of action to make that happen in a very, very short period of time. And that's something that we teach a lot. And as you know, Danny, from the training that we did, it's all about that. It's great, you can have the vision, and that's a massive part of it, but you've got to go and go all out. It's not, you can't dabble. You can't kind of, do a bit here, there. It's like you're all in, right?
We do believe if you want something enough, you'll find a way of making it happen, and you can. And you can. I think we've all got it within us, and it's sometimes getting out of your own way and the fear. Mm-hmm. And by the way, we've definitely been there at times this year as well. When our utility bills going through the roof with our HMOs, and the Bank of England base rate moving around, hopping every week, and all of the challenge we've had recently, and we've definitely had that still, where a bit of fear kicks in. You're thinking, right, okay, and overwhelmed because there's so much going on. And I don't think the real clue, and I know we're going to come on to this maybe in a bit, but I don't think the real clue is necessarily stopping that ever happening, because if you stop that ever happening, probably means you're not playing at the next level again, and stretching yourself. So you're then gonna get to the next level, and it's gonna happen again. You're gonna, oh my God, what's going on here? But it's how quick do you get out of that and back into your mindset where you can move forward?
which kind of leads very neatly on to what do you think has been your biggest challenge?
Our biggest challenge, I think we stopped raising money, didn't we?
Yeah.
So in order to pay back some of the investors that were coming to an end of their period, we had to rely on refinancing. And
which has been really slow.
Yeah, which has been really slow. So we've had to push back paying back. Whereas if we'd have been, you know, sort of still raising, then we could have used that to pay back, you know, move to the next. So is it a bit of a?
I think it's sometimes aligning all of the stars in the right order when they need to be dropping in, and we've got you have a plan, don't you? Like an investor has got a time period to be paid back, and you've got a refinance, or you've got a sale going through, or you've got something else coming in, and you've got all these different options and exits to do it. And it's probably the challenge is executing at least one of them, or the amount you need to happen at the time you need it to happen. You know it's going to happen. You believe it. We know it as investors. You can see it all. But then you get that call to say, right, this is delayed by 4 weeks, or we now need this paperwork, or that signature we don't like that. We want another one, or whatever it is, or the value has gone off ill and now it's going to take another 3 weeks, or that planning permission, whatever it is that's out of your control. It's then, well, I'm still responsible for what happened. So I now need to do something different, but I had it perfectly lined up and the world has jumbled it around, but I've still got to find a way of committing this, fulfilling this commitment. And that's probably, I think, the biggest challenge.
What's also amazing to me is that you didn't say your biggest challenge was raising £1 million in private finance. Now, a lot of our listeners, I would think they'll be blown away by that, to think, because a lot of people put money as the biggest challenge they think they're going to have, raising the money to do this, and you've been almost kind of nonchalant about it. Yeah, you know, we set a goal and we just raised £1 million. You know, that too, I think a lot of other investors will blow their minds. So, but I love the fact that that wasn't your biggest challenge, and that was just an outcome of taking a huge amount of action and knowing what you needed to do and going out there and just making that happen. And actually your challenges come down to things that you can't control, like planning, like lending, like, you know, people moving the goalposts, or all these kinds of things that happen to us as investors that we have to overcome. So I think that's a great lesson. And I was going to ask you, what do you think the biggest lesson is? But I think this is what I'm taking from this conversation, is a huge lesson is the challenges aren't the things you can control, they're the things you can't. You know, so
because it's much
you can absolutely control going out and raising the money you need to do this by taking the action. But you can't, you know, but you have to understand that there will be things that also aren't in your control that you have to deal with.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's where, like Kate said, we stopped raising money for a little while, because we thought we've actually got this all lined up and it's comfortable. We've got it all lined up. It all makes sense. It's all within sensible time frames. And you're confident
in the deals as well. You know, the money's all there. It's all, you know.
Yeah.
Doing what it should.
And the tough bit for us this last year has been when that's gone to shit and that hasn't happened. It's then, well, actually now we need to raise some money again. So our probably our other lesson definitely within that is don't stop. Just keep doing it all the time, whether you think you need it or not, because the likelihood is you will. And if you don't, but it comes in, then, well, how about we just go and get another deal then and utilize it, because we're helping our investor, we're helping somebody have a home. It works for us as well. So actually that's not a bad problem to have, that we've got another 100 grand or whatever in that we didn't really need. And all right, well, let's do something with it then to help everybody else and ourselves. Let's help people.
Brilliant. That's a great problem to have. Great. Now, I just wanted to kind of finish things up with something I ask everybody that comes on when I speak to, which is what do you think are the 3 key attributes of a successful property investor?
Problem solving, first of all. You've got to be able to solve the problems. There's no, you know, you can analyze any deal as much as you want, but we all know that, you know, things rarely go to plan.
Yeah.
You might have a plan, but plans change, goalposts get moved, and we can't control other people.
Commitment and self-motivation, we think definitely just nobody's there to save you, and you need to you need to be able to, and I hear a lot of people say this, and it's when you're used to being employed, you're told what time you need to be there, what you need to do, what order you do it in. You can have a break here and what have you, and it's a bit easier. You just go through it. So if you're not self-motivated and able to every day still get up and right, let's go again. What do we need to do? I'm absolutely committed and relentless in this action. Then it's going to start toppling over, or you're just not going to get where you want to, and then that internal conflict and frustration will come in as well, probably. So yeah, commitment, self-motivation.
Okay, so what's number 3?
Managing your own emotions.
Yeah,
I think it is an absolute ride, isn't it? And trying to manage your own emotions when stuff out of your control as well comes in, and that can be good or bad. You could get something could overachieve or underachieve, or a problem, or somebody's coming in with something. I think trying never to get too high and never getting too low, just trying to keep a fairly even keel on it is probably.
I think
so. When you've got other things going on as well. We've all got life happening as well, not just business, haven't we? Children. They're not just children. They're like young adults now. We've got the eldest is 20. The youngest is 3. So managing your emotions through that. We've got two 15-year-old boys. So it's managing emotions is definitely one of it, isn't it?
Fab. Yeah, you got a lot on your plate, guys. It's amazing to hear your story and your journey. I know we could have talked all day, I'm sure. So what I'm going to say is we will catch up with you guys again in a few months, maybe when your development's finished and you flip that on. So I'd love to talk to you more, find out more about what you're doing, what your plans are for the future. So let's do that. Let's put a date in the diary to catch up with you in a few months' time, see where you are. And in the meantime, if anyone wants to get hold of you, how do they find you? Are you on socials? What are your socials?
You're looking at me because you don't do social media. So we've both got separate property pages Facebook pages and Instagram pages, like a personal, and we've got a joint Facebook and Instagram as well. Just Danny and Katie Bloomfield.
Danny and Katie Bloomfield.
Yeah. And we've got a Facebook group as well, Parents in Property, if anyone wants to join that, which is where we just talk about the challenges and the wins, the hard stuff, the good stuff about parenting and property all mixed together, because it's what we know.
There's a bit of support there, and it's lovely to have you in our community as well. So you know where to find us at propertywealthsystem.co.uk. We run webinars for anyone looking to get involved in property. Come onto one of our webinars. We run every Thursday. propertywealthsystem.co.uk. Obviously there's podcasts as well, and we're running local networking events in certain areas, so look out for those. But in the meantime, Danny and Katie, lovely to talk to you, great to catch up, and I look forward to catching up with you again in a few months and see where you are then and get some more lessons.
Thank you.
It's been great chatting. Cheers, Nick.